Namaste. How's it going? In the first 2 years of the practice, where you develop the fastest, you gain the most out of your potential in the first 2 years of the practice. We need to be very good at key elements only and then understand them to the core for the other ones to follow eventually in the future. Therefore, we don't have to learn the advanced techniques. They just happen. And then from my personal journey, and I apply this to my students and the way I teach them, my teachings, and I find this quite effective in helping them. When it comes to the body, the physical techniques, those that promote mobility, dynamism, as well as coordination and synchronization are the most effective in developing the bandhas, the subtle anatomy. Because bandhas, in a bigger sense, is a byproduct of your body, the breath, and the mind working in a very synchronized manner. That they happen spontaneously, almost spontaneously. You don't have to think when to breathe, how to move a particular body part as required in a particular position. They just happen spontaneously. All right. And then translating that to the lower aspect of the asana, those that we work the hips dynamically are the best. And what are this? All right. So for example, if you do a vinyasa, that's one. But what I find most effective within that vinyasa umbrella is when you work on the stability, the dynamism of the hips. And then this one works really very well. Alternating leg raises, because what it does, aside from strengthening the upper back, you also decompress the sacroilimbus spine and promotes synchronicity and coordination. And then couple that with crossing between the hands and sitting. Eventually, as your body gains the strength and the mobility and the coordination of the breath, you'll be able to perform a synchronized way where you inhale as you cross through, exhale to settle, inhale to push, and exhale to sit. It's like the sit through. And then you can utilize the blocks or any support you can find at home to provide that extra space under you. Yes, after doing a few leg raises there, good. Crossing one leg, pushing the other one, and then try to pendulum your way through and sit. Okay, so that for me, and then that's how I started the journey actually. Probably I just hit the right spot. I wasn't even thinking of developing my bandhas. I didn't know bandhas back then. So I just enjoy it. Because that's my nature. So you might ask, I am too weak to do that. Okay. You know what? I teach students in practically all demographics. My oldest group have a core group of senior participants, and then I teach people as old as 68 years old, and they're able to perform similar techniques. As long as you don't have, for example, sustain or nourishing an injury, of course you have to mend yourself first before doing this technique. And there are many ways to still keep up with the practice without you straining the affected joints, the affected body parts. And then, for example, if your body is too weak to do that, right, an easier alternative is this: lie on your back and then do your twist. And then this provides the same benefit of opening and loosening your hips as well as strengthening the core. And that's doable, right? You can do it on your stomach. It's actually my initiation practice, bending the knees and circling around. All right. and then moving to a bit of a side to side. You can do your Masakridasana sequence. And then my classes are always filled with this. If you've been following my teaching and then do my classes, this one is a very common technique that I teach. Right. So there are a variety of options you can choose from while you're developing the body. But eventually, in the future, this one really helps. All right. And sitting through. It may be a shallow technique of the physical body, but that's what I find really effective. Okay. Now, you may ask, how about static poses? Do they work? Yes, they do, but I really recommend doing them in conjunction with dynamic ones, active ones. For example, after a round of the sit-through or after a round of the reclining and then your prone twisting, you do a downward dog. And then you do a few leg raises there. And if you want to do a static pose, you can step one leg up and then just do a warrior, for example. But standing poses should be part of your practice, especially in the beginning stages. So for me, all right, so I don't want to be giving you too many information or detail, but those are the essence. Work the dynamism, the coordination of your hips, as well as some static standing and sitting poses. Right. And if you want to gain inspiration, you can just follow my classes. I've given a number of them, and then try to practice them over and over again until the techniques get ingrained. Okay. And then probably when your bandhas manifest, you won't be needing my guidance anymore because you will develop your own way of growing your practice. Okay, now, when it comes to breathing, pranayama, I know, again, this is another topic that's very confusing sometimes because of too much information available out there. Okay. So don't practice pranayama the first year of your journey. Just do the body, just practice the physical until they become light. And then second year of the practice, you might incorporate just two, okay? Two. One is actually not a pranayama, but shakarma. The first is the kapalbhati. Okay, so what I find so beneficial about the kapalbhati is that it dissolves the inertia of the mind. And then how can we incorporate the kapalbhati? You can practice kapalbhati while doing your asana. For example, after a dynamic asana, for example, after this, you just hold it still and then you practice the kapalbhati. 10, 20, that will suffice. Good. And then you do your next cycle, for example. And then you flow again. And then when you do a downward dog, do the kapalbhati again. Through, and then spread the kapalbhati through the duration of your practice. Okay, now, you can also do kapalbhati before your pranayama. Now, but the key pranayama that I'd like you to really grow is what we call the alternate nostril breathing. The Nadi Shodhana. Yes, I've given a number of tutorials that will last many years for you to follow and practice with. If you want a guided practice about that. Simply is blocking the nostrils in alternating fashion or action. Then we hold the breath within. Breathing that right, left side, and then sustaining the breath. Probably you start with 4 seconds retention. And then changing, exhale through your right, inhale right side, holding that breath again for the same duration and exhale, and then just do that. The first stage, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, and then try to grow that one for 3 months, and then adding on the number or the length of the retention from number 4 doing number 8 after 6 months or 3 months would be very easy to sustain, I tell you. You'll be surprised. And then until you are confident or comfortable holding for like 16 counts, counting from the higher number, 16, 15, down to 1, change, and exhale, inhale the right side, and then retaining the breath. What's important here is sustainability. Good. There's no purpose of holding the breath for 1 minute if you can only do it for 1 repetition. No. It has to be sustainable within the time period. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Start with 10 minutes, you're doing your retention shorter, and then jump all the way up to your 8-beat retention, and then go all the way up to your 16-beat, and then try to accomplish 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Currently, my practice is 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes at night. And that is enough for me. But before then, I try to accomplish longer time of the practice. But I've settled already, so 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes at night is suited based on my current situation. Yes, and then that would be the bulk of your 2-year journey. Simplicity. And probably in the second year, you will just realize, oh my goodness, I'm so light, I can already jump. Okay. You might not be able to jump all the way to your floating sensation, of course, depending on your nature, depending on your age, but you will feel jumping is light. That you are synchronizing the breath with the way you jump, and then you don't have to think. Okay. Although I have instructions detailing the action, but without you developing it yourself within, it's not possible to happen. Right? And then from there, the progress will just continue and will never stop until, only you can tell, you can decide how and when, or when to stop. Well, actually, it won't stop. It will keep developing. Once the bandhas open up, it will open up. It will pave way to endless possibilities. All the way to your meditation. So yes, my goal for this is to just provide you a practical, approachable, real life, sustainable structure you can do at home. And then, the adjunctive lessons we have in this channel shall assist you in learning the finer details of those key components. Good luck, and I'll see you in the next lesson.